Just finished a inspection on a house, and they called me because they have two little children. They're having respiratory issues, both of them. And so I go in the basement. I always start my inspections in the basement. And so there's a story about what I found, and I wanted to share this with you. So I go in the basement, and you always want to do this kind of inspection in as dark as possible. So tell people to turn the lights off. But what was going on was on the overhead floor joist, particularly in the lower part of the joist, there was a lot of aspergillus / penicillium. You really can't tell the difference even in a tape lift. You have to grow it in a petri dish to determine whether you're talking about aspergillus or you're talking about penicillium. So the laboratories normally just report it together. So what this looks like is a small little white lenticular egg-shaped dot, and they're maybe maybe 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch long, and they are always parallel to the wood surface. They are never perpendicular, because that's how moisture moves through wood, is in the direction of the grain of the wood. So these things are like these little lenticular shaped structures, and they're really white in color. And then right in the middle is a little black dot. And so once you see them a few times, you never forget what they look like. But I've collected some tape lifts about a bunch of times, and it always comes back the same. So I've kind of just say, yeah, that's what it is, and let's figure out how to remove it. And the interesting thing about this house was these dots, this aspergillus penicillium growth, was uniform across the basement. So that tells me that humidity in the basement is an issue. So I talked to the client about how to, paint foundation walls, and how to paint the floor, and how to do the things you have to do to lower the humidity production in the basement. Now, and I mentioned about cleaning the house and how to clean the overhead floor joists. With floor joists, you can just use Dawn dishwashing liquid, about a tablespoon for a gallon. That gives a good surfactant property. So I explained, wear safety glasses, wear a respirator, and initially you can take a wet rag and wipe off those surfaces. I suggested to him to use a flashlight just like I did, because it's easier to see it with a flashlight than it is just ambient light. Wipe it with a soapy cloth, and then take a scrub brush and scrub it down. And this is using a wet technique, so it shouldn't go airborne. Scrub it down with a soapy cloth or a scrub brush, and then wipe it again with your soapy rag. And you're going to want to do the whole basement minimum twice. Industry standard is 3 times. But anyway, I tell happy homeowners to just do it twice or 3 times, depending on what kind of people they are. So that was an important finding, because they didn't know what the problem was, and a doctor referred them to me. So I said, after you clean the basement, I can come back and collect air samples, but let's see if that rectifies the health issue of your children. So that's where we left it. All right, Bob Bennett, Farsight Management. It's better to use Farsight than hindsight. Take care.